This edition of MacVoices is supported by Headspace. Meditation made simple. Visit headspace.com/MacVoices for a free 1-month trial. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're in the middle of a pandemic, in case you hadn't heard. I'm pretty sure that's not news to you. And today's interview is going to be about preventing not just COVID-19, but also preventing a lot of other nasty little things. I'd like to introduce you to Christopher Allen. He is the CEO of iCleanse. Chris, welcome. It's great to have you on MacVoices.
Thanks for having me, Chuck. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's just kind of dig in right away. What is iCleanse and where did it come from?
Yeah, so iCleanse is a company that I acquired about 3 months ago. Its former name was ReadyDoc, and they've been around since about 2011, 2010 in the charging tablets, and then they went into disinfection of tablets and phones in about 2014, 2015, primarily in hospitals and things of that nature. But basically what they did was use UVC light to disinfect those tablets and phones in a number of different devices. And so now we've taken over the company, my team and I, and we're transitioning it to iCleanse, telling a little bit better story, I think, and bringing it to the masses now in a much larger market with obviously the current conditions in the pandemic.
Now, I've got to be honest with you. When the pandemic hit, of course, we started seeing articles about UV light disinfecting for your iDevices. And I kind of took that with a bit of a grain of salt until I learned that, as you alluded to, that apparently this is something that is much more common in health care environments and industrial environments than it is for just us regular people out here. So, and you couldn't have been positioned at a much better time to actually bring some of this stuff to the consumer market.
Yeah. And while we are focused on the consumer, I would just say the consumer for us is primarily B2B, but it affects the B2C dramatically. Up until we acquired the company, about 90% of all the business for iCleanse was through hospitals. That has now morphed into police departments, fire departments, restaurants, jewelry stores, salons, pretty much anything you can think of that needs to protect their customers, their employees, their patients during this pandemic, and give them peace of mind that they're doing everything that they can to protect them so their business stays afloat.
Well, that was one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because I think a lot of people like me looked at this and were a bit skeptical about just how effective is this. And yet, if you do a little bit of digging, you find out that it is very effective.
Yeah, we've actually just done another round of testing in our independent labs. So all of our products are certified through independent third-party labs. All of our products are made here in the USA, which I think is a great thing to tout in this day and age. And our lab just reported back that our COVID-like pathogens, as well as influenza and MRSA, we killed 100% within 30 seconds. So simply, a 30-second bathing of light around your device around your iPhone or tablet within our device kills 99.9% of all the pathogens out there.
And the fact that we're not just talking about COVID-19, I mean, obviously that's what's on everybody's mind right now, with the flu running a close second based on the morning TV that I watch. And yet you have a solution that can all but wipe out some of those concerns, at least from an iDevice or mobile device standpoint.
Yeah, if you really think about it, Chuck, you go. Their encouragement is to wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, stay socially distant, wear a mask. Well, washing your hands is great, and I'm not disencouraging that. However, if you wash your hands and pick up your phone, it's been tested, and there was just a report out of the UK that COVID alone can live for up to 29 days on hard surfaces. Your phone being one of those things. But your phone is got numerous different pathogens on it. It's pretty disgusting. They equate it to the toilet bowl, toilet seat, I should say. And so you wash your hands and you go pick up that phone and you start touching it again. Your efficacy is really zero. So really important to educate people that there needs to be the dual effect of washing your hands, cleaning your phone, even if it isn't with our device. alcohol not being the best, but in some of the hands, the wipes not being the best either, because they have to stay wet for technically about 10 minutes. But those types of things need to be done if we're really going to help prevent this. And it's just got to be top of mind for people that their phone next to their mouth, their nose, their eyes, and their ears, virtually all very susceptible points for infection.
So walk me through the process. So I decide to take advantage of what you offer. How do I take care of my iPhone? How do I disinfect it? Is it a matter of me putting it in the device under a lamp? What's it look like?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It looks like a small microwave almost. It's an opaque box, very heavy duty. Our products are all commercial industrial grade, so they're made to go thousands and thousands of cycles. And what you do is simply place it in a basket. You slide the drawer shut, press the touch screen that says, disinfect, and it will run about a 30-second cycle, disinfect the unit, and you pop it out and you're good to go. So it isn't very laborious or something that somebody needs to be trained on. It couldn't be more simplistic, and that's really what we're shooting for. We're already starting to improve our UI, and we have 2 new products that will be coming in the next few weeks here, as well as a third in the early spring. So we're just further and further the education and the ease of use of UVC disinfection to protect the population and help businesses really get back to doing business, at least in what will be the new norm.
Yeah, we all want to see that sooner rather than later. This needs to be asked. I think it's pretty obvious, but just in case, there's no chance of this harming your iDevice, regardless of whether it's an iPhone or an Android phone or anything else. If this is strictly light-based.
Correct. It is light based. UVC light has been known to degrade plastic over a long period of time, but this is talking, years. It's kind of like your old patio furniture that would sit out in the sun for a period of time, could get brittle and crack. And we're talking lots and lots of use and lots of exposure. Most of the phones nowadays are all glass and they're all metal, so you have virtually no worries there. A case, I guess, could change over time. It was a cheap plastic or something like that, but even those these days are covered with UVC coatings typically, or UV protecting coatings.
Right, and even if it was a concern for cases, I'd much rather have to swap my phone case after a year or two, as opposed to take a chance on getting sick. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where we're all at today. We're weighing those balances of what's prudent and what's necessary, right? It's some of these things are just the fact of life of where we sit today in this current state of a pandemic.
Yeah, and again, I think you're so well positioned, and I'm delighted to get a little more information personally as well as to share it with folks. I'm happy to welcome Headspace as the newest sponsor of MacVoices. Life can be stressful, even under normal circumstances. 2020 has really ramped that up to a new level. You need stress relief that goes beyond quick fixes. That's Headspace. Headspace gives you a daily dose of mindfulness through guided meditation in an easy-to-use app. They are one of the only meditation apps advancing the field of mindfulness and meditation through clinically validated research. Overwhelmed by your day-to-day? Headspace has a 3-minute SOS meditation that can really help you dial down the stress. And if you need help falling asleep, Headspace has wind-down sessions to help you put the stress in its place so you can get the rest you need. With Headspace, you start out by selecting your goal, improving your sleep, gaining focus, whatever. Headspace then walks you through the process of meditation, providing calm, measured instructions. I started out with their basic session since I haven't done meditation in a long time, and was surprised at how I started looking forward to the next session. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/MacVoices. That's headspace.com/MacVoices for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditation for every situation. That's the best deal offered right now, so head over to headspace.com/MacVoices today. Thanks and welcome to Headspace as a sponsor of MacVoices. What kind of pricing do you have for these models, and what size? I mean, I know we're talking about iPhones and tablets, but do you accommodate different sizes? And I'm thinking, depending on what kind of business you might be in, that you might want to take advantage of this.
Yeah, so that's actually what we'll be announcing, and I'll give you a little sneak peek at it on this interview. So we'll be announcing right now we have a Swift 5X, which is a 5 drawer unit that's primarily in hospitals and various fire departments and schools and things like that. It really just fits iPads and phones, or just any type of tablet and phone, I should say. I shouldn't say I only. In addition, we have a Swift XL, which is a larger unit. It's weighs about 40 pounds. It's big, and it would fit a Surface tablet, large iPad Pro, that type of thing in there, and or multiple phones. Some people are using it where they could throw 5, 6 phones in the basket at a time. And do a number of devices in one fell swoop. In addition, police and fire are using that for CVs, body cams, things of that nature in between shifts, is another use case that we're seeing. And then what we'll be announcing is we'll have a Swift, which will be a little bit smaller unit, basically just saving some desktop space for the bigger unit that's about 27 inches wide. And then we'll do a Swift Mini. That Swift Mini will have a taller tray. So we're seeing things like curling irons from salons, small hair dryers, different things like that in between customers, jewelers trying to clean the jewelry rather than using chemicals on jewelry, in between people trying on jewelry and things of that nature. So we've tried to accommodate each one, and our prices start at $5,500 all the way down to $4,100. So again, this isn't a cheap product. People can use their PPP money, but it is a commercial industrial product. It's not a tchotchke product out of Asia that we picked up and pulled off a shelf that somebody was making. And this is all tested, certified, independent labs, and again, made in the USA. These things are heavy too. They weigh, some of them, even our Mini will weigh about 21 pounds. So not light units that are, consumer based, I would say.
Well, and just what you said earlier, the fact that these are a little more industrial, and the fact that they're built to take that, and you have to get all the certifications and all those things. I mean, yeah, it's not just like shining a purple light on my phone for 10 minutes before I take it out, on the day. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're seeing that adoption. A number of warehouses, big publicly traded company warehouses, are looking at it as an option to help protect their employees, and give them peace of mind. Nurses and nursing homes, doctors, lawyers, anywhere there's a number of phones and tablets, it's just offering another step of safety and precaution to protect their staff, patients, and customers.
It's got to be a little bit of a challenge because when you put your iPhone in, hit the button, take it out, nothing appears to have changed. It's almost like wearing a mask or washing your hands. You never know. It's all good practice, but you never know that one time that you do it just may have prevented you from getting COVID or the flu or whatever else it is. It's just there's a certain amount of faith here and just best practice going on.
It is. The one thing that we have offered people, if they want to be, certain that it's doing something, you can put it on record and hit the record button and stick it in, and you can take a video of the lights turning on, so they know they did turn on, because it is a sealed box. But if you're that concerned, or you have that type of hysteria around conspiracy theory, there is actually lights working in there.
Yeah, because none of us right now are susceptible to conspiracy theory at all. There's nothing going on in the world.
No.
Where can we send folks to learn a little more about this and maybe order it if they are interested in protecting for their business?
Yeah, so it's very simple. It's at iCleanse.com. We have a team of sales reps that's being built out across the country, about 150 folks, as well as some key distributors, so that they can go there, request more information, and somebody will definitely get back to them very quickly. In addition, I would just highlight too that if they've gotten PPP money, this can be used with part of that PPP money. So it is a essential device during these times. So think about that as well. So, and they're always willing to call us. Our number's on the website, and you can find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and all that good social media stuff.
So I have to ask you, if you go into a doctor's office or a dentist's office or any of these places, I mean, should we all be asking what steps they're taking to disinfect?
I think it's prudent. Those are high touch points, right? And I've even asked. I was in a doctor's office, and they asked me to sign in on an iPad. Believe it or not, still to this day. This is just a few weeks ago, and I asked them. I think there's a new hesitation. People don't want to be seen as like being overly cautious, but at the same time, you should be overly cautious. We're in the midst of a pandemic. So I've point blank asked them, how was this clean? Did you clean this between me and the last person? Because you can take my temperature, make me wear a mask, and do all these other things. But if somebody just put their hand all over this or sneezed or coughed, this thing, lives on this for up to 29 days. I don't want that. I'll thankfully pass and say, give me a piece of paper fresh off the printer and I'll sign that if you need me to sign something. So it is something people should be concerned about.
Yeah, it's a real challenge trying to know where those lines are, and you made an excellent point that you don't want to be seen as just somebody that wants to live inside a bubble, but at the same time you want to be cautious and protect yourself and your family. So you do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, Personally, I think about, family that's got pre-existing conditions, or myself, I have asthma. Not that I think I'm in that risk category, but I'm not Superman either. So, we've seen young people lose their lives to this. And do you want to have that momentary regret where you didn't say, hey, how did you clean this? Or did you clean this between me and the last person? And have somebody's life on your hands. I mean, that's not to be overly dramatic, but that's truly what people are dealing with nowadays.
Yeah, and it's not like the common cold where you can say, "Oh, you know what? I really should have done that. I'll do it next time." This one, you may get a chance to protect yourself next time, or you may not, and that's not anything any of us want to do. So,
Yeah. Fortunate that we're here. Hopefully, I know we'll get through it.
Yep. Anything I've missed since you know your product a lot better than I do. Anything that we want to make sure we tell folks?
No, I think, stay tuned to the website. We'll have photos up shortly on the new products and the new designs. We will have a new product in early February, March timeframe that I'd love to come back and talk to your viewers about. That one will be even more in the face of the consumer and may even be implemented in some home building opportunities. So stay tuned, but we are doing our best to get it here as quick as possible so that we can help folks stay safe.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. Definitely. Let's get you back on when the consumer item comes out. I'd love to hear more about that and what it does for folks, because unfortunately, this COVID thing is not going away anytime soon.
Unfortunately, that is the truth. I appreciate the coverage, Chuck. It's a pleasure talking with you.
Great to talk to you. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. This is something you need to know about. Even if Chris's products are not for you right now, it sounds like he has one that will be. But in the meantime, if you work in any of the industries we talked about, it may be something you want to look into for the safety of you, your employees, your coworkers, anybody you come in contact with. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.